It was a Friday night, and I was grounded without a phone. Living alone with my father in a rural area where everyone knows each other, but some people keep to themselves, had its challenges. My father went to bed around 11 p.m., and I started preparing to carry out the plans I had made during the school day. Without my phone, my friends and I had agreed to meet at my best friend Greg's house around midnight. After putting on warm clothes, spending some time at the computer, and having a snack, I was ready to sneak out. My dad had taken my phone the day before, but didn't tape my car keys, thinking I had nowhere to go without it. Tiptoeing to the front door, I realized the keys were on my dresser upstairs. I sighed, turned around, and headed back up. I carefully avoided the creaky spots on the floor. The distant hum of the air conditioner created a white noise that helped me focus. Approaching my room, I felt a strange presence and unease. I stopped in the open doorway, breathing quietly, afraid my father might catch me in my shoes. After a moment, I flicked the light switch, quickly grabbed my keys from the dresser, and faced the doorway, still sensing something. My stomach rumbled, and my throat tickled. My imagination ran wild, thinking of creatures or killers lurking in the dark hallway. Swallowing my fear, I quickly left the room, turned off the lights, and rounded the corner. I cautiously approached the corner where the staircase, my father's room, and the guest bedroom intersected. Keeping my eyes on the stairs, I descended faster than I had climbed. A little scared, I quickly left the house into the cool summer night. The moon was in its first quarter, lightly illuminating my yard. All the neighbors' houses were dark, outlined by the moonlight. I quietly slipped into my car and softly shut the door, making sure it was secure. Feeling inside, I couldn't resist peeking into the back seat. To avoid detection, I turned off my headlights and put the car in reverse. My driveway is long and slightly inclined, so I started rolling downhill. While doing this, I searched for a good radio station, distracted by the radio. Once I found a decent station with acceptable reception, I looked at the dashboard and hit the brakes. The lights were on in my room. The whole house was dark except for that upper left corner room. I put the car in park and sat there, tense and nervous. What bothered me was that no other lights were on in the house. If my dad had entered my room, he would have turned on his light and the hallway light to see where he was going. For a few moments, I sat staring at the two windows facing my room until I saw a shadow. It was partial and large against the left wall. It was motionless, and I thought it was my lamp or something until it moved away. My gaze fixed on where the shadow was until I saw movement at the right window. Slowly approaching, a large, burly figure stationed itself in the right window. I inhaled sharply, my heart pounding as the figure stopped and turned toward my door. Time stood still as it slowly turned to face the window. Its clothes blended with its hair, which fell a few feet, merging with its dark attire. The figure was broad and tall, its hair disheveled and wild. It stood there, face hidden by hair, a silhouette in my window. I froze in horror, unsure what to do, hoping it was a prank by my father. Could my father be playing a joke on me? No, it couldn't be. I had never seen anything like this before and thought I was dreaming. I started feeling dizzy and shaky, beginning to choke. I sat up straight, keeping my eyes fixed on the figure, motionless like a statue. My jaw trembled, and goosebumps covered my arms, legs, and neck. I opened my car door and stepped out, finding myself in the night silence, broken only by faint radio commercials and my panicked breathing. I slowly approached the house, eyes on the window, with no definite plan. I glanced at the front door and back to my room. I stopped as I saw the figure slowly walk out of my room. Moments after it disappeared behind the door, I realized it was heading to my father's room. A rush of adrenaline surged through me, and I ran to the front door, bursting through it, screaming as loudly as I could. I screamed unintelligibly as I jumped up the stairs, skipping 3 steps at a time. Reaching the second floor, I turned towards my dad's door, surprisingly locked. I stormed into the room, fearing the figure was following me. My father sat up in bed, confused, asking what was going on. Relief washed over me, mixed with fear that the figure hadn't reached the room yet. Turning to face the door, I backed into my father's room and collapsed onto his bed, eyes fixed on the doorway. My father continued questioning me with concern and bewilderment. I told him to be quiet and that something was in the house. Something? He asked, pulling out a baseball bat from under the bed, fear evident in his voice. I heard the floor creak downstairs and the sound of breaking plastic. I jumped to my feet, looking at my father, who was already heading toward the door with the bat. He told me to follow him, which I hesitantly did. I followed him into the hallway and down the stairs, turning on the light behind me. The light and my father's presence reassured me, but I still expected to see the figure at any moment. Entering the kitchen, we saw the door, now a mangled plastic frame on the floor. "What the hell?" my father said, confused by the events. He closed the sliding glass door and started questioning me. I told him about my plans to sneak out and what had happened. He was relieved we were okay and called the police. Though I knew the figure was gone, I turned on the downstairs light. My heart still pounded, and I sat on the couch to relax, waiting for the police. I was safe now. The figure hasn't appeared since. It's been a year now. But the memories still haunt me. I feel uneasy when alone in my house or neighborhood, even during the day. I always sense that it's there, wanting to come inside and watch me. I will never know what it was or why it fled when I entered the house. I will never know why it was in my room or if it was human. Since then, I tried to convince myself that it never happened.